What's going on, people? Flick here, coming at you from the Flick Edition. In today's vlog, I just wanted to make a brief little video while I had some time to talk about something that I don't think a lot of people take seriously enough and realise that the effects and repercussions can happen to almost anybody and do on a daily basis, whether they talk about it or not. And that is stress. It can be quite a serious issue, and I think that a lot of people can just tend to sweep it under the rug. I'm here to talk about my experiences today, in particular the start of 2019, the stresses that I've been going through and how I've been attempting to deal with that and things that I've noticed. And if any of you can relate by anything that I've said, and if there's anything in this video you find beneficial or helpful that you can take away and implement into your own lives, then by all means feel free. The main point is I don't want other people to feel alone when they are going through a very stressful time in their life, or there's lots of little stresses that are all hitting at once, because that's usually when we get overwhelmed. So if you're interested in any of that, stay tuned. So the start of 2019 for me definitely hasn't been exactly a good one. I still do my best to make the best of each day and my situations, which is something that I've learnt that I've got to try and do. Even if that is really, really hard, you just have to keep trying, and that's all anybody can do at the end of the day. The start of my year started off with my dad having a massive heart attack, which was incredibly scary and terrifying for all of us. And he was in ICU for quite a while, and it was a very rough time. And I think the worst part about that whole situation was the not knowing and the waiting. I knew he was in the best place possible, being a hospital, and he was being cared for. But it's your mind starts to play tricks on you. Your brain can tend to go automatically to the negative side of things. And as much as you're trying to stay positive, it is incredibly hard. And that can, you know, leach over into other aspects of your mental health and life and everything like that. So that was incredibly hard. He is home now. He's slowly getting better and doing rehabilitation and everything like that. Obviously there's still worry in my head, you know, with things like that, but I take care of my mum and my dad at home, and as long as he's doing everything that he's supposed to do from the doctors and the hospital, then that gives me a little bit of peace of mind. Everyone's different when things like this happen, but I know I can only talk about myself, and that's what I'm going to do. I noticed that when this happened, I clearly had a lot of other issues that I hadn't dealt with that had built up and built up in my mind and my body, and that I wasn't dealing with. And I noticed that this was sort of the icing on the cake, you know, that the last straw that just sort of broke the camel's back, so to speak. And my emotions were just coming out everywhere in every way, or then sometimes not at all, which is not always healthy either. And I had to figure out fairly quickly how to, I guess, rein that back in and learn how to control and direct the correct way for me to expel my emotions that I wasn't talking about, that I wasn't getting rid of. Because the last thing I wanted to do was blow up at the wrong person, which would not have been their fault. They wouldn't have understood why, and it would have made both of us feel worse than either one of us were probably already feeling. So it can be incredibly hard when you bottle things up because you think and you have this notion in your head that you're not allowed to talk about things, or that you're not allowed to have certain feelings, in particular with, you know, a lot of people, but the demographic, a lot of it being men, they feel like they can't talk about, you know, if they're depressed, if they're anxious, if they're worried, if they're sad. Common thing, but it's definitely something that I would like to break that stigma with. Man, woman, other is allowed to talk about what's going on because there's no shame in it. Although you may feel embarrassed, there is no embarrassment. It's a very normal part of life. One of the worst things I have been able to notice is when I bottle things up, when I don't open up to somebody, when I don't talk about things, even if it's not going to make sense when it comes out of my mouth, it's like a pressure valve. I have to release it, or it could impact me a lot worse than it could have if I'd just been a bit vulnerable for a minute. Obviously, I'm not saying you run around and be vulnerable to everybody or someone you're not comfortable with, but when you're comfortable with someone, friends, family, that's what they're there for. You know, it's give and take. You know, I have friends that I can talk to, and they know they can talk to me, and it's about support. That's support at the end of the day. It's one form of support. And just think that when it comes to stress, it's a lot more serious than people think. It can cause you health issues, physical, mental. I know that when I get extremely stressed and I know I'm not dealing with things or I'm not letting things out or talking to anyone about it, and I'm thinking that I've got to take all of this on myself, like the whole weight of the world is on my shoulders, I start getting physically sick. I start getting horrible gut pain. I start feeling just like I'm being stabbed. And in the past, I've actually gotten internal bleeding created from so much excessive stress, and that was a really big terrifying moment for me, and I didn't even realise that it can happen, but it can. I think that's what a lot of people got to understand, is that you're in control of your decisions on if you decide to open up or not, and there are outside factors that will help you feel a bit better about if you choose to or not. But at the end of the day, it's not about if someone can fix you. No one can really fix you. They can just support you and be there so you don't feel alone, to make the days and the nights a bit easier, not just holding it all in, because that can be more detrimental to everybody's health than anything else. And I know a lot of people find it very hard to open up and talk about things, myself included. I can be guilty of that sometimes, and that's something that I attempt to combat every day of my life. When I feel myself putting up that wall, I know I got to slowly start chipping at it to get it back down, and because I know that if I keep that wall up for too long, it's not healthy for anybody, me in particular. It is not good, and I can make myself worse. Basically, this video, I just wanted to let everybody know that if you are going through a tough time, if you have a lot of stress, take it seriously and don't feel like you have to deal with it all on your own. If you've got someone that you're comfortable with, that you trust, that you can confide in, even if that might just be a diary. I don't think journals or diaries are lame or anything. They have helped me, especially when I was a teenager and into my early 20s, helped me a lot, and I still do it now. Whatever way works for you, do it. But in order to find what works for you, you need to attempt to try little things to see what affects you in a more positive way. For me, it might not be the same as you. You know, one of the things I like to do to calm myself and de-stress is to either play video games, play guitar, listen to music, or work on my fish tanks. Now, I know that that's not going to be the right option for a lot of people, but the only way I knew that that works for me was because I tried it, you know, and I kept doing it a few times. The thing is, you try different things that might work for you, that might ease you a little bit, that might stop the noise in your head and your brain from creating more chaos than there is. And just remember that the weight of the world doesn't have to be on your shoulders, even though it's probably feeling like it is and you're feeling a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. There's that key word again. More often than not, I guarantee you've got somebody around you, even just one person, that cares and is just waiting for you to open up to them. And like I said, even if they don't know how to help, that's okay. But I think a lot of the time, something that I've learned is, with some people, when they want to hear about what's going on with you, without judgment, without maliciousness, without anything, they might feel a bit bad that they can't help, but they still want to hear, they still want to know, because then they know you're not trying to deal with it all on your own. And silence is a big killer. It really is. Silence is a massive issue for a lot of people, and it can do more harm than good. And like I said, even if you don't feel any better after opening up, at least someone knows that you aren't okay, and they're aware of it, you know, and that you don't have to feel like you're doing this all on your own. Basically, I just wanted to stress the importance of stress, because I think it is an emotion and a feeling that a lot of people look over. It is a feeling that people don't take seriously. And I think that in really worst case scenarios, it can make someone take their life. And firstly, accepting that you have an issue and that things are bothering you and building up like a pressure cooker, and that, you know, you need to recognize things within yourself that You might be afraid to. You might be absolutely terrified to be like, okay, I'm a little stressed, or I don't feel so great, or I'm not happy, or I'm pretending to be happy, and I've done that a lot. But I've also recognized them, and that's the first step, is if you can admit that you know, if there's something wrong, then you can seek help or figure out what direction to take for yourself at home or anything like that, or into in your daily lives. That can slowly, nothing is a quick fix. Nothing in this world is a quick fix. And the sooner you get that out of your head, the sooner you will start slowly to realise that things take time, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. The main thing is that you keep trying and you never give up. Even when it feels like you really, there's no other option. There always is. And this is speaking from someone that struggles with this on a daily basis, but something in me keeps pushing me, and that means I'm still going to feel horrible while I'm pushing through each day and all the stresses that are compiling on me every day. But I find little ways to cope, whether it's talking to my friends or, like I said, playing guitar or something. I don't have a lot of time anymore to do that, but I attempt to find something. Like I said, even if it's on my way to do an errand, I'll listen to music. It's something little, but it helps. Because I think people get lost, and you can always be found when you're lost, but you've also got to want to be found. If you bury yourself so deep that you don't want anybody to help you, and then wonder why no one's helping you, or why no one seems to care or whatever, chances are you've been pushing them away without realising it, because you think you can do it on your own, or that you need to, or that you're supposed to do it on your own. But that's just not the case. Some people need help, and some people need to not feel alone, and that's perfectly okay. Nothing wrong with that at all. I think more people need to be honest about the way they're feeling and talk about things, because no one's a mind reader. No one knows really anything about what anybody's going through. They can assume and they can make assumptions and they can do this and that, but unless you talk about it and communicate, you're not going to get very far. You're not going to get very far. That can then in turn cause more issues, more stress, more tension between some people, you know, family, friends, whatever it is, relationships, it doesn't matter. But remember that you're in control of what you decide to do, because mental health is tricky, and stress is tricky, and lots of things are tricky. And we might not always be able to control the impulses or the thoughts in our head or whatever that may be when it comes to anxiety and things, but we can attempt to be like, okay, I recognize this as anxiety, I recognize this as stress, I need a 5-minute breather alone, and that's okay. Alone time is really important as well. That's what we can control, you know. We can't necessarily control the imbalances in our head, but we can control where we go and what we do from that. And it's never easy in the beginning. It always takes a long time, and you're going to have to feel really uncomfortable and really horrible and really shit, basically, for a while first, but eventually, slowly, little things start to click and make sense, and you figure out what is right for you and what helps a little bit. Life was never meant to be happy all the time, and not everyone is supposed to be fine and dandy. And that's just not realistic, because there are lots of stresses all around us in life that we can't control, that we have no control over, and they're unavoidable. And it doesn't mean that we necessarily blame them, blame this, blame that, but what we can do is just recognize in ourselves that we're not okay sometimes, and that it's okay not to be okay, and that we don't have to do this alone. And that is something that has been incredibly hard for me, in particular when my dad had the heart attack, and with my mum. She hasn't been well since I was a child, and she's getting worse. That has been something very hard for me to accept and realise that to some extent I have to do it on my own, but then in other extents I don't have to keep it all bottled up. I can talk to either one of them about things. I can talk to some of my friends, my family. You know, it's hard because there's a lot of pressure, but at the same time I realise that there are little avenues I can take to make it a little bit better. and more manageable and tolerable every day within my mind, because that's what it's about. I don't mind what I have to do with anything in life. It's my mind that is my worst enemy. I am my own worst enemy half the time, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. But it's what you do with it. So I just really want people to know someone loves you, someone cares, and someone out there, maybe not everybody, someone out there wants to hear about your day. And it could just be that one person for 5 minutes that makes the best of a shitty situation. For example, something so small and so insignificant, I don't get out much anymore. I don't get to be as social as I once was, and I'm okay with that sometimes, and other times I'm not, because again, I let things build up in my head. But something so simple, just to give you a example, was I went and had coffee with my friend the other morning, and it was only for an hour, but the happiness I felt of just being out of the house, doing something I wanted to do, even for a little while, because I have not been able to in a very long time, really, lasted for like 2-3 days. It was really nice, and it was the first time in months genuinely felt happy and relaxed and less tense, and all it was just going out to have a coffee and talk shit, literally. But it meant more than that. It was more than that. It was, I knew that I had someone I could talk to. I knew that someone actually wanted to listen to me, and I would listen to them. And something as so small as that coffee made a big difference on how I woke up in the morning, how I went to bed. I actually smiled. And some people might think, what? Not a big deal. I go out for coffee all the time. Yes, that's great. You might. I don't get that chance very often. I don't get to leave much. I don't get to do things like that. Try here and there, but something that might seem so insignificant to someone else means so much more to somebody else, and you need to respect that and understand that's okay. So basically what I want all of you to do is do something really small that you've always sort of wanted to do, but you've been either afraid someone else might think it's stupid, or you've been afraid of something else, whatever it is. If it brings you joy and it makes you happy, just go and do it. It could be for 5 minutes. It could be for 2 minutes. It could be having an hour coffee and a chat with a friend or a family member. Or you know what? Take yourself out for a coffee and just zone out and unwind. Whatever it is for you, affects you in a positive way, go and do it. We all say that we don't have time, and that's true. Life takes up your time. But like I said to you, if I don't have time to do something I'd love to do, I'll attempt to do something else. For example, if I'm taking my mum or my dad to a doctor's appointment, I will bring my headphones and I will listen to music while I wait. It's something, see? It's something. So, have a look at yourself and see if you are struggling with things that you're not talking about, if you are full of stress and feeling like you need to do everything right now and it's all on you, and stop for a minute. Just stop, take a breather, and know that people care. And even if you can't figure out how to word it and get it out properly, understand that it's okay to tell someone that you don't know how to word it, but then they're aware of it, and then just let it out. And if that doesn't work, or you're not interested in that, then just try and find something a little bit every day, or even once a week, or whenever you can, attempt to make time and a slot in your life and do it. Because it's just those tiny little things that make a hard day a little bit easier to get through. Most of the time when we're going through things, we're not going to be feeling great while we do it. But that's the point. You still try when you feel like crap. And if someone gives you some advice and you're trying to do it and you're like, well, that didn't work because I still feel like shit, don't have any expectations, because that's not how it works. That is not how it works. Every single time I've tried to do something to better myself, I'm feeling like crap the whole time while I'm doing it, but I'm proud of myself because I'm trying. It could be the way I'm trying to change the way I think about something, or my anxiety, or my depression, or if it's just I still feel horrible. I am still trying even while I feel like crap, because it's all about grinding. You just gotta grind. So I don't know if this rambling video is going to help anybody. I really hope that it can, and hopefully it can give some other people a little bit of an insight into where I've been, what I've been doing. It isn't exactly the best, like, happiest topic, but guess what? That's life. I'm not going to sit here and lie and make tons of videos where I'm fake and I'm just bullshitting and pretending, because I already have a habit of pretending on a basis that I'm perfectly fine, and I'm really not. And I know a lot of other people do that too, but I'm not going to do that on YouTube. I'm not going to do that with these videos, because too many people do it, which I believe gives a false impression that everyone else has to. No. You being sad, you being angry, you being down, you not coping, it's normal, it's fine, it's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make you a pain in the ass. I've had to accept that. It's really hard for me to accept that about myself when I get in those moods, because I don't want to feel like a burden or an annoyance to somebody. But guess what? Life can be shit. People can be shit. Situations can be shit. And you can feel like shit. But don't give up. Because at some point, even for 5 minutes, it'll be alright. And that's what you could look forward to. I hope you're all being the best yous you can be, because at the end of the day, that's all you can do. Till next time, guys, flick out.